At the end of the day, we've gotten away from the village raising children. There used to be a point where you had your child, your mother lived around the corner, grandmama lived up the street, aunties and uncles weren't far away. I mean, you go to the country in Crawfordville, Georgia right now, a 1 acre of land got 10 trailers on it.
Yeah.
And that's how we built communities. But now everybody, you get become an adult, you move 2 states over, your mom has to fly in to help. And then mom out there living her best life too, because she ain't trying to really be a grandmama like that. So I don't think it's something missing just for single moms. I think it's missing from the family unit altogether.
So I want to segue into something else, a little bit more serious. I don't even know how to pronounce this word. Mommunes. Mommunes.
Yep, that's it.
Mommunes. Okay, so it's mommunes. And mommunes are this thing. And from what I saw in the video, I didn't watch the entire video because I wanted to be a little bit more surprised when I played it in its entirety. But they're where single mothers decide that instead of living alone and raising children on their own, they get with other single mothers and live in a home and they all raise their children together. So you kind of got like a village, right? Sharing resources. There seems to be some practicality to it. I didn't watch the whole video. It's only 3 minutes long. I'm going to go ahead and share it. And I want y'all to give me y'all thoughts on it because that's what we do here, right? So let's jump into it.
So the New York Times reports that there's a new spotlight on something they call mommunes, single mothers living together. It's been going on for a very long time. I guess the New York Times just heard about it. And what do you think?
I love this. It is as old as cultures themselves. There was a time where people lived together, tribal communities, especially non-white communities, multi-generational homes. It was never natural to have a nuclear family that lived in a house and left babies with one mom by herself. So when you are on your own,
Nicole,
you're gaming the system to bring communal resources, whether it's childcare, food, money,
you hear the
and
video
saying,
that's playing?
You don't have to do it alone.
I
One
can
of the
never
stories
hear the
featured in that was
videos
two
that play.
sisters that had both been divorced. The first thing I would do if I ever found myself in a situation where I had kids and I was by myself would be to find other women to help me with the battle. I mean, those are the people that will go to the ground for you. I think it's
I'm wondering what the New York Times was doing in the 1980s when I was watching the Golden Girls.
Yeah.
Because those were 4 women living together in a communal arrangement. Look, I think things have become very expensive.
Yep.
For me, I have a mommune here at the View for my 5-pound poodle who requires constant attention and petting and loves Whoopi Goldberg in some sort of way.
In a special way.
Yeah, we said they reached first base today.
At least 3 times during the
Hot Topics meeting. But I agree with you, Sarah. My kids grew up in a multi-generational household. This is not unusual to me.
And you grew up in one.
And I grew up in one as well. My mother lives there. My mother's mother lived with us as well. So my kids have always been in this sort of mommune situation. It felt a little sister wife to me at first until I started thinking, 80% of single parent households are run by women.
Yeah.
And I was speaking to Lynette, who does my makeup, and she's a single mom, and it's really hard.
Yeah.
And it's really, really hard to do it alone. And so if you can have a multi-generational, household, or if you can find friends that are like-minded like-minded parenting skills. Because I have some friends I could not mommune with.
Well, that's what makes marriage hard, though, is it's 2 different ways of doing things often.
Yeah.
No, I like the way Sarah described it because my initial thought was I just graduated having female roommates. I definitely don't want to go back to this because, the rent was too damn high. But it's actually a lovely idea. My mom was a single mom when she raised us because I'd spend summers with my dad and school year with her. And you just don't have enough help. There's not enough hours in the day. There's not enough ability to get things done. So having other women to support you and divide tasks makes a lot of sense.
To tell you the truth, I want to live in a gay mune. I want to live.
That would be fun.
I want to live with my gay friends. I want Lee to take care of the food. I want Ken to take care of the entertainment. We're going to have to hire somebody that can fix things because all of us are useless.
A queen among queens.
All right, so Nicole just joined us, so I'm gonna kind of sum up what we just shared. The video was they were basically explaining what a mommune is. Have you heard of a mommune? It's basically where a bunch of single mothers, multiple single mothers, instead of being single moms on their own, they all come and live in the same house and they all raise their children together. They pool their resources, they pool their efforts and energy, and a bunch of single moms raise their litters together. And I guess that's
Litters,
the
wow.
thing. And they my bad. That was terrible. That was so
That's
terrible.
terrible.
But is it a good idea? Is it a good, think about it? We get on. So let's just say you and the father or the ex-husband, it's not working out. And then you realize, yo, this sucks. This is difficult. Obviously, every single mother talks about the difficulty of having to be that 90% or that all on their own all the time. Why not you and your homegirl and a sister say, hey, we can get this big house. We can share it. We got a basement. We got all these rooms. We got this kitchen, and we can just raise these kids together. Why not?
I've seen it done a couple of different ways where in some instances these mothers will actually marry and be domestic partners to where they can share insurance and everything. So you have the mommunes where it may be several moms together, but you also have like two moms who decided to just combine their households and they present like a lesbian couple, even though they're not. But on paper, they're married, so that both of their children get the benefit of each person's resources in the home. At the end of the day, we've gotten away from the village raising children. There used to be a point where you had your child, your mother lived around the corner, grandmama lived up the street, aunties and uncles weren't far away. I mean, you go to the country in Crawfordville, Georgia right now, a 1 acre of land got 10 trailers on it.
Yeah.
And that's how we built communities. But now everybody, you get become an adult, you move 2 states over, your mom has to fly in to help. And then mom out there living her best life too, because she ain't trying to really be a grandmama like that. So I don't think it's something missing just for single moms. I think it's missing from the family unit altogether, that family togetherness we once had. So women out here recognizing that they can create these spaces with each other to help manage, I think is a great thing. Because at the end of the day, the village helps the children. And I don't necessarily think it matters as much. Well, I mean, you want male energy too, but at the same time, one stressed out parent versus splitting that between 3-4 people you feel loved by. I don't see any child that's not going to thrive in an environment like that. As long as the processes are equally yoked across the people involved, similar parenting styles, things like that, which are kind of necessary in rearing kids anyway. But if you can create a community around these children, I don't see an issue with it. I think pooling resources, especially with how the economy is pretty much taking all of us to the bank, is a good idea. And if you can make it a little bit easier for yourself and for your children, why wouldn't you?
All right. I'm gonna get you, Nicole. I want to get a raggedy old caveman's thoughts in here real quick. Go ahead, caveman.
Honestly, man, my first initial thought was I wanted to find a problem with it, just because. And then I realized for the first time in my life, I'm a product of that system or that setup. Because you know the house that we grew up in, me and my brothers, my great grandma, my grandma, my great aunt, my aunt. Before our great uncle passed, he was there, but after he passed, of course, he wasn't there anymore. So My dad was in and out. I'm going to speed up until 97 when our mom passed and our dad moved us back to my grandma's house, great grandma's house, and I was there until I was 22. But it was it was a Golden Girl setup. I grew up in the Golden Girls house, so I think I turned out rather decent. And my brothers, my siblings, they all turned out pretty decent. So I can't find a problem with it. You know, whatever works. So if they find themselves in a situation where they gotta they need each other to survive, then you know, make the best of what you got. So I'd encourage it. So yeah, I definitely don't. I don't have a problem with it. As much as I tried to find a problem with it.
As much as you want to say a bunch of cackling hens in there raising a bunch of kids.
You wanted to so bad.
I wanted to. I wanted it. But I mean, hey, I'm all for it, man. So I mean, as long as they produce some healthy children, then hey, have at it.
I don't like that shit. It's practical. It makes sense logistically. I just don't like the idea that just there's no dudes. Like, I mean,
whose fault that is, though?
Listen. I'm finna go there. Look, I don't know if it's their fault. I don't know if it's the man's fault. What I would hope that in that system that they find a way to make sure there's a responsible masculine influence in and about their mommune to the point where it actually has an effect. Because you still need that balance of of feminine and masculine. You still just need that balance. So that's the only thing I can find issue with. Go ahead, Nicole. You can give us your take on that idea. I was just saying that the only thing I can actually throw in there is like, hey, you know, worst come to worst, we're not going to say who's at fault for the man not being there. If it's the men not being there, if it's men's fault, women's fault, who cares? I would still hope that there will be some masculine influence in some way, shape, or form on a regular basis. So there's just a balance. You know, you just got to have that in young people's lives. But go ahead, Nicole.
I think that as the economy is changing, shifting, that you're going to find more situations like this, but I'll even go more so like other cultures have been doing multi-generational houses for decades. You know, you move your mom in, that way you already have built-in support and care. Not to mention, you know, people who, you know, I've seen plenty of people who 2 or 3 families will live together. They'll pay off the house and then they move, and 2 of them move, and then they move in another family, and then they pay off that house, and then they make the next transition. So I've seen this happen from a cultural perspective. Normally it's entire families, versus in this situation, it's just mainly, you know, the moms working together. One of the things I was going to bring up is I think that this could help. I think sometimes when you're in a situation as a mom and you don't have another set of eyes, a lot of these kids are experiencing parents that are just stressed, overly stressed, and they're taking out their stress on their children and creating trauma because they don't necessarily have the support. So if a mom had, let's say, another mom or somebody that, again, you're having off nights, somebody else can cook and you can go decompress. I think for moms who are struggling, this would be a viable option. I do think from a friend perspective, I think that when you go into now trying to pretend as though you're living a life you're not living for trying to get you send necessarily the wrong message to your kids sometimes. You know, getting a hookup, now you've normalized something that you might not have wanted to normalize for your kids. So you need to be, you know, kind of careful there. And then what you also have to go into it eyes wide open. What happens if somebody gets a man? What does that now do to your house? Like, okay, now you have a man, and now you're what, telling him that this is the way it's going to be because this is what I have, or you now abandon your friend.
Or you take kids from their brothers and sisters and
right,
their family.
Exactly. So where I think it helps kids is, I think sometimes it helps them to get outside of themselves, that the world doesn't all revolve around you. So learning how to be cooperative with other people. So that can be helpful. But when you're kind of setting yourself up to like be in something long lasting that might not be able to be sustained that way. And then if it isn't sustained, how do you navigate that transition? I say a lot of times, I use the phrase again and again and again and again and again, because I think sometimes we think.
Did we lose her?
Look like.
Hold on. Oh, we good. She back.
Okay. Sometimes we use that phrase, and I'm gonna say it again and again. You got what you wanted, but now you don't want what you got. And so you have to be mindful every time you go into a situation. How might you feel later? How would that affect somebody else? What effect would that have on the kids? I think if you start looking at it through those lenses, then it helps you to make better overall decisions. But I'd much rather that than a mom struggling, or, you know, how many times do you see moms that are working long hours and their kids are left at home alone, which now leaves them open to outside influences, somebody sneaking out, somebody sneaking in, where at least there's also somebody in the house just for support and safety. That's my 2 cents.
You know, like I said, from a practical, just purely pragmatic standpoint, like I said, I'm with you guys all. You know, I can't find fault in it, and we do a lot of lip service to community. Oh, we talk so much shit about community and how we need to be a community, but when it comes to actually saying, okay, what can we do real time right now? Fuck everything that's the problem with where we are. What can we do real time right now? This is something that could be done real time right now across the board. And it would definitely have, I think there would be more positive from it than any negative, especially long term. So I would definitely 100%, like if I saw it, you know, I might talk a little shit, you know, because I, you know, just a bunch of cackling hens. I'm going to be a crusty old man about it. But when you think about, like you guys said, some of those effects long term, and the fact that this is what we used to do. You made the point, Sheffy, that now we, you know, when we get a job, or we, you know, we all move away. Everybody moves away. Grandma ain't right around the corner. Uncles, like all those people are not there. And so we're talking about actually having this, and I really can't see much of the flaw. I can't see much. Okay.
The one thing to consider about the whole male piece is that a lot of these commune type places, those kids are typically heavily involved in extracurricular activities. So that's where a lot of that comes from.
Okay,
those parents are usually a lot more involved in the school system and you know, things like that. So it's not just this center of cackling hens so much as the male influence just may not exist in the household, but it's there. It's just not
there
in the household.
Yeah, right. And that's really, and as long as it's there in a capacity, you know, just in a capacity, Would you gonna say
I want
something,
to know
Frank?
who wear the pants around there.
Nobody.
I can't say what I was gonna say. Damn, I was gonna use
Somebody
a
got to
long
put
word.
J's on around there.
I was
No,
gonna
they
use a very
don't.
long word. I was gonna use a very long word that would have got me canceled. So let me not use.
Y'all are. I can't stand you two.
Somebody got to go to work, man.
All
Who
of them
doing it?
work.
No,
Who doing it?
hey
Who paying
man,
them beer around there?
look, it gotta be at least one stud around there. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, Jesus.
One,
Jesus Christ.
somebody got somebody
Her
got
name
to wear.
Roberta.
Somebody wearing the strap, huh?
Somebody got to wear the shirt. Somebody got to wear the wife beater with they boob mask down. Somebody got to snag some pants around there.
She preferred to be called Bob. Her name
What?
Roberta.
Yeah, something.
Thank you.
I can't stand y'all.
All
Immature.
right. Next thing I'm finna go to.